Took me 2 years of marriage to figure out my wife will never tell me to do anything around our home. If she wants me to do something, she'll ask me a question. It's from that question that I gotta stand there and figure out what it is she wants me to do. Simple example, say I leave a pair of my underwear in the middle of the bedroom floor. It's a hypothetical. We all know no man could be that insensitive. But let's just say it happens. That frosts my wife. That's her word when she's angry with me. Jeffrey, that frosts me. If I'm not frosted or I'm driving her up a wall, that's another one. Kids would come in, where's mom? She's up the wall with frostbite, that's all I know. And you won't believe what put her there, boy. It was that pair of underwear in the middle of the bedroom floor. I think you're looking at the most powerful piece of cotton on the planet. So I leave my underwear in the middle of the room, which frosts my wife. Now, would she come to me and say to me, pick those up? That's 3 words, pick those up. Would she say them? No, because that would be simple, direct, and right to the point. And at that moment, we would be communicating at the highest human level, the way God intended it, through language. Tammy looks at me, looks at my underwear, and then asks, are those yours? Well, I sure hope they are, otherwise I got a few questions of my own. What do you want? That's the only question a man has for his wife. What do you want? Quit talking in code and tell me what you want. Many a night I walked around my home with a coat hanger strapped to my skull. My kids are going, what are you doing, Dad? I'm trying to divine what your mother wants. There's gotta be a signal in this house somewhere. My favorite question, we weren't even married 3 months, and this is my favorite question. I'm leaving the house. I have golf clubs on my shoulder, golf shoes in my hand. And every married person in America knows what she asked me. Where are you going? I was only married a few months. I didn't know any better. I said, I'm going bowling, Columbo. You know. Well, if you're taking notes, that would be the wrong answer. 2 hours later, I was still in my living room. Just tell me what it is about, please, baby. You know what it's about? It's about the right answer. It's knowing why your beautiful, intelligent wife would ask such a banal question. I know better today. If I'm leaving the house today with golf clubs and Tammy says, where are you going? Oh, I'm gonna put these in the trunk and I'm gonna come back and mow the lawn. I have a son who served 6 years with the 101st Airborne. We picked him up at Fort Campbell. We live here in Nashville, so we were driving back, and I asked my son, I said, so now that you're out of the military, what are your plans? He said, well, I was kind of hoping I can move back home for a little while I reacclimate to civilian life. And I said, you've earned it. Take all the time you need. Well, 19 months into the acclimating process, a very perturbed wife of mine grabbed me in the hallway one afternoon and said, how long does it take to acclimate? I said, I don't know, I never had to. She says, go downstairs and find out. So I go downstairs, I politely asked my 26-year-old son, so did you learn anything? He's thought about it. He says, you know, I can kill you 6 ways with a popsicle stick. All right, you enjoy that video game, my man, and let your mom and I know when you're done acclimating. So I go upstairs and Tammy says, what'd he say? He said, get rid of those fudgesicles because he's going on a diet. It was the food. I don't know if the Army fed him for 6 years. All I know is he was eating us out of a house. Tammy and I started hiding food in our bedroom to keep it from our son. I mean, how pathetic is it? We had a stash of brownies and muffins next to our bed. So we'd get excited at night, run down the hall, holding hands, and lock our bedroom door. He may have thought we were doing something else, but we were just under those covers eating brownies and laughing at him. You hit 50, your life gets pathetic. We went out and purchased a Select Comfort bed. I don't know if you're familiar with that, but each side of the bed has a number. The higher the number, the harder the mattress. My number is 100 marble slab. Tammy's number's 2. First night she laid on her side of the bed, she literally disappeared from my view. Mattress wrapped around her like a flour tortilla. Poor thing was sleeping in a fajita. I roll over to kiss her goodnight. I fell into a ditch. I couldn't get out. I'm like, wait. She's yelling at me, get off of me. What are you doing over here? Get off of me. By the way, if you're a newlywed, that's the sound of 31 years of love right there. You don't get me wrong, we still try to get romantic. We just save it for special holidays. Turns out Tammy's favorite, leap year. Didn't even know that was a holiday. I'll just dim the lights and put on Sade. She'll go, wow, has it been 4 years already, Tiger? All right, come on, I'll get the good flannel on tonight, come on. No, we're married, we try. We just know how much time and energy it actually takes, and we prefer to watch Law and Order. She falls asleep at 9:15 every night. My wife, you could set a watch by her body. At 9:10, I'll look at her on the couch, it's like a gas leak goes off in our living room. Hey, babe, maybe you should go to bed. I'm fine. What are you, a 5-year-old? Quit fighting it, go to bed. Will you be quiet? This is my favorite show. Poor woman has seen the beginning of every Law and Order for 5 seasons. Now they come on and rerun it, she yells at me, I've seen this one. Well, give it 20 minutes. And we've been married 31 years, and things change over time, believe me. She started menopause. I didn't see that one coming. There are nights that I lie in bed and dream about the good old days of PMS, trust me. I can't get to home cold enough. It's 48 degrees in my bedroom. I got meat hanging off my curtain rods. She walks in and turns on some 64-bladed fan she installed. I actually had to bolt our furniture to the floor to keep them getting sucked up through the roof. And she stands in the middle. Why is it so hot in here, Jeffrey? Why? I can't see her because of the fog coming out of her mouth. And then she wakes me up to feel her night sweats. Is that even necessary? I'm laying there sound asleep. She zips my parka open while I'm laying there. Wake up. Feel this. It's disgusting. Look at me. I'm just sitting there. There's like a furnace in me or something. Well, you're lucky you don't have to go through this. I wouldn't if you'd quit waking me up. Then I told my boys, Mom's going through some serious stuff. Like what? Remember those nights you didn't do your homework? She'd get mad and yell real loud. He goes, I remember that. Be a little different now. She might start crying and then stab you. I'm getting old, folks. I've had 2 hip replacements. August, I had my shoulder done. They tell me I'm gonna have to sleep sitting up for a month. So my wife and I went out and bought a new bed, one of those split down the middle where you sit up like this. So anyway, I didn't realize how old we were till one night we were both kind of looking at each other, watching TV, and I decide I want to give her a kiss. I lean over, she leans over to kiss me. Our lips come up about an inch short, and the noises that came out of our bodies trying to make up an inch. I mean, I'm telling you, I'm like, ah! She's like, what are you, birthing a whale? What's going on with you? I go, I'm seeing stars, babe. This is not good. I love you, babe, but I'm not going to the hospital. It's bad. I got to watch a lot of television. Dateline, my Lord. Our pastor keeps talking about the divorce rate in America. And the murder rate's not too good either. There's a lot of people not getting out of marriage with their lives. I'm not kidding you. And nobody sees it coming. Oh, they loved each other so much. Well, they found him in a 300-foot ravine with his wife's handprints on his back. Maybe they had a couple of unresolved conflicts you were unaware of. I'm telling you, men, before you go on vacation with your wife, watch 5 Datelines. You'll look her right in the eye. Are we doing all right, you and me? Yeah, people quit talking. That's the problem. Everybody's on their phones, on their iPads. You got to talk. And I'll tell you what, we've been married 38 years, my wife and I. And we're at a point, I don't applaud that. It's been rough. You know. We're at a point now where she doesn't even care anymore. I'll start telling her a story. She'll hold up like this, and I'll go, what's that? She'll go, you've told me this story 3 times now. Sweetheart, if I can't repeat stories, we're done talking. My life isn't that exciting. I got nothing new to share. That's it. And I mean it. You have to learn how your spouse communicates. That takes time. You know, newlyweds, every man knows what I'm talking about. You know, when you're first married, you don't know the rules. You go ready to go out for a date, you come out of the bedroom, you know, you're dressed, and she looks at you and says, are you wearing that? And you're new, you don't know any better. You say yes. Now she's got to regroup and ask you another question. Oh, I thought you'd wear something else. And you go, no, I like these. Now she's got to come up with a third one. I thought maybe you'd wear those new pants and that new shirt I bought you. And you go, oh, I could wear that. Now, 38 years later, I know better. She says, are you wearing that? Nope, these are my practice clothes, babe. I'm gonna go get my game uniform on right now, you know. Actually, I think they went out of style while I was waiting for you to do your hair and makeup, you know. Come on. And the other night, I'm telling you, 2 weeks ago, I come out of the bedroom ready to go out, and she looks at me and she says, "Oh, Lord." And I go, "What?" She goes, "Those pants." And I said, "You bought me these for Christmas." And she said, "I made a mistake. On the mannequin, they look good. On you, and you're never out of them." She's right. They're Eddie Bauer fleece line from November to March here in Nashville. I wear them. I bought 2 pair. They're warm. They're comfortable. They have fleece on my leg. So I told her, get used to them. I'm not getting rid of them till April. So anyway, a couple weeks go by. I'm wheeling the trash out to the curb, and I remember I have trash in the trunk of my car. So I go to my car. I get the trash out. Walk to the can. I lift the lid, and at the bottom of the can is one of my pant legs is sticking out. She threw out my pants. So I dig them out of the trash. I come walking in the house, and I'm standing. She comes walking. She sees me holding she goes, "Oh, Lord." And she starts laughing. "It's not funny. You threw out my pants?" She goes, "I told you I was sick of looking at them." And then I remember I've been missing clothes the entirety of our marriage. So I asked her, "How many times have you done this?" She said, "It's the first time." I said, "Liar. Nobody gets caught the first time. I watch Dateline. That's why they're called serial killers, you psychopath." And then I remember I had these tiger sweatpants. I loved them, tiger sweat. And then one day they're just gone. And she gaslights me. She says, "You know how forgetful you are. You probably left them in a hotel room." And I believed her because I thought she loved me. So I said to her, "My tiger pants." She goes, "Oh yeah, I threw them out. I'm not even ashamed of it." My gosh, it's bad enough you wore them around the house. You were wearing them out to the Publix, Jeff. People were wanting to offer to pay for your groceries. You looked homeless, for God's sakes. My MC Hammer pants. They were gone like in 5 days. And she said, "Oh, those were burned." I go, "You burned my Hammer pants?" She said, "No, I put them under the pile of the leaves. You did the rest of it, Jeff." All right, let's do a little survey here. By applause, men, how many of you ever thrown out 1 stitch of your wife's clothing? None! Not one man. Are you kidding me? You never throw, not one man ever looked and said, "That ratty old bra, I got sick of looking at it and I threw it out." Ladies, by applause, how many of you have thrown out your husband's clothes? Admit it, come on. Do you hear the glee, Gov? Do you hear the glee? They're sick. Well, I'll tell you what, she's got an eye on a coat of mine, but I'm ahead of her. I came home with a pearl white fleece coat. I loved it. I walked through the door, she goes, "Oh man, where did you get that?" I said, "I bought it. You don't like it?" She goes, "It's a pawpaw coat." "What's a pawpaw coat?" "It's an old man coat." I said, "Did you look at your husband lately?" So I know she's got her eye on it. What she doesn't know is I put an Apple tag in it. I'm gonna be on stage one night. I'm gonna watch my coat being driven to Waste Management. I'm gonna take a screenshot, come home and say, "I can't find my coat." "Well, you know how forgetful you are." Liar! My parents had their own love language. My parents were married 57 years before my mother passed away. And they spoke their own language. That last Christmas, we knew would be Mom's last. She was going through ovarian cancer. We knew she wouldn't make another year. And she was sitting on the couch doing her crochet. The kids were on the floor watching a Christmas movie and stuff. My dad was in his chair. And then out of nowhere, my father starts serenading my mother in their special love language. My mother didn't miss a beat. She puts down the crochet, she goes into the kitchen, comes back 10 minutes later with 2 hot dogs and a soda pop for her husband. How cool is that? So that night, I'm laying in bed with my wife, and I ask her, "Did you see that today between my parents?" She goes, "What? That whole thing with my parents?" She goes, "I did." And I go, "You think we'll ever get there, you and me?" Tammy says, "Shoot me if we do. You start hawking hairballs at me like that, it's over." That was one of the most vile, disgusting things I've ever seen in public. I almost blew my dinner all over our kid's head. Over the summer, my wife and I celebrated our 37th wedding anniversary. Thank you. And I have figured out after 37 years, every conversation we have now turns into a game of charades. It's a constant guessing game anymore. We can't remember anything. We'll be driving along and she'll say something like, I saw that guy you worked with in New York on TV the other day. I'll go, which guy? She'll go, you know that guy. No, I don't. That's why I'm asking you. The guy. You worked with him in New York. Was that city? No. Buffalo? No. Rochester? No. Syracuse? No. Well, those are the only places I work in New York. Well, maybe it wasn't New York, Jeff. I don't know. I said, what do he look like? She said, a white guy. Well, that narrows it down. Was he tall, short? She goes, well, about your height. 6 foot, 6'1"? No, he wasn't that tall. Then he's not my height. This goes on for like 5 more minutes, and then eventually we just both drift off. There's no conclusion, no ending. I don't even know. We were at the swimming pool last week. She says, I got some shrimp for dinner tonight. Great. And she says, I got that sauce. What sauce? The red stuff with the horseradish. And then we start all over again. Neither one of us can remember the name of the sauce. 20 minutes later, she yells across the pool, cocktail sauce. You win. We lost our minds. I'm blaming it all on COVID. That's all. Blaming everything on COVID. She got mad at me during COVID because I was golfing 5 days a week. She says, you're going to bring the COVID home like it's a human being. I said, I'm outside, I'm golfing. She goes, what precautions are you taking? I said, for golf? I don't know, we quit kissing after birdies. Does that work for you? Besides, we play woke golf. Woke golf is where you hit your tee shot, then you pick the ball up and place it where you feel it should be. So, yeah. And like everything in the woke world, there's not one root in reality. So I've had 41 hole-in-ones. So. Yeah.
Hey, this new book, I love the title, Are We There Yet?
Yes.
That title, we've all heard that expression,
Right.
but for you, it's deeper than that.
It's a lot deeper. It's a job. When I got into recovery, and you begin a journey of recovery, and it's like you're a child. You're just in the back seat of a car, and you don't know who's driving the vehicle.
Yeah.
You have no clue, and you just it's almost like your parents leave you at the rest area and leave you the keys to the car, and they take off, and you got to figure out where you're going to go.
It's a powerful story, Jeff, and I've known you a long time, but there are a lot of things I didn't know about your struggles and how God has taken you through some tough, tough times. And it's really a miracle story and an encouraging story.
God did it. I always say everything I did was self-inflicted. I was stone cold sober when all of this. I tell the audiences, if you can get through the first 6 chapters without killing yourself, it's an uplifting tale. You know,
But you have the story of how you came through it.
Right.
And that's what's powerful about it. It's a phenomenal story. Everybody knows you was a funny guy. They don't realize a lot of hurt deep down in there that had to get worked on.
Well, we did. And Tammy, when I gave her the last draft, I said, you need to go through this and be okay with my version of what we went through, because this covers the first 7 or 8 years of our marriage. And she read the first 2 chapters and put it down and said, I can't read anymore. We were just horrible people. And I said, that's the beauty of the story, is if they stick to the end of the story. Paul said, when you are in Christ, you are a new creation. The old is gone and the new is here. We're not those people. Yeah. So we can sit 30 years later, write about them and look at them and go, holy cow. You know, and then it's nice to see what God has brought you through, you know, and from a bird's eye view of going.
It is a beautiful, beautiful story, and I hope that you'll get a copy. Jeff has upcoming tour dates all over the country from Fort Wayne to Honolulu. So surely, somewhere along the way, you can support him on the road and go see him.